Can someone confirm if my screen is visible so that okay then. So we were discussing about what? We have been discussing about the concept of association. So under association, we have, association has been categorized into many types. Yes or no? We have one-to-one association. We have one-to-many association. Let me bring the exact. Okay. So we are on top of relationships in Java. Okay, we are discussing about as a relationship. Okay, so when you ask me what is the main purpose of relationship in Java, why it is necessary to make a relationship between two classes, okay, the answer can be very simple. You can achieve the less execution time, the memory consumption can be less, and there can be less number of instructions. Okay, so there is a difference between as a relationship and is a relationship. However, we are going to see is a relationship in the future topic. So our understanding is completely restricted to as a relationship. So we have been discussing about as a relationship. It states that when a relationship is used to define the associations between two classes. Okay, it is nothing but to define a association between two classes. We call it as a relationship. Okay, the reason why we are discussing as a relationship is it will improve communication and the data navigation between two classes. This point is very important. Okay. And is a relationship is talking about the code reusability. Why the code reusability? We will discuss about this in the future topic. The next topic. For now, the as a relationship is being discussed because we are trying to understand how the data navigation is happening between two entities, how the communication is happening between two entities. Whenever you hear a word as a relationship, you should you should get this line into your mind to improve communication and the data navigation between classes, right? So this is the main intention of association. And again, under association we have like many subcategories: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many. And I have given one example under each and every subcategory. We have seen these things practically as well. Okay, I don't think for much explanation is required. Okay, I suggest you to repeat these classes once again. Okay, one-to-many association we have discussed, and with an example. Okay, let us recap this quickly. And we have also discussed about what many-to-one association, many-to-many associations. Okay, and again the degree of association. When you are getting a question like what is the degree of association, again the degree of association has been categorized into two types: aggregation and the composition. I have given you the typical diagram. For example, let us consider this real-time analogy. Okay. So we often visit libraries in the college. We often visit libraries in the college. Okay, I am referring to we as students. Okay, students, they often visit libraries in the college. Okay, libraries is meant to students. At the same time, library is also meant to store the books. Okay, students can visit the library. At the same time, books can be stacked inside the library. So let us say that this is a library, right? So you keep books in the library, and students, they visit the library to enhance their knowledge, to improve their knowledge, or to collect the books. Okay, so here there is a relationship between a library and a book, as well as the library and the students. To avoid confusion, let me let us do this. Okay, so this library and books, they have, there is an association between library and books, and there is also an association between what library and the students. Okay, here the idea here is whenever, like, if you are closing, if you are shutting down the library, if the library is closed, okay, do you think that you will get access to the books? Okay, when the library is closed, you will not get access to the book, which means books will also remain closed, right? It is not like when the library is closed, students will be also unavailable. It is not like that. students are always available. Even the library is closed, students, they have an option to visit some other areas apart from the library. So this student existence does not really depend upon the library, yes or no? Student existence does not really depend upon the library, but books existence is directly depend upon the library. The association between books and the library is a strong association, guys. It's a strong association. Why strong? The library is shutting down, books are unavailable. Library remains open, books are available. So don't you think there is a strong relationship between the books and library? Strong relationship is there between books and library, because the act of library depends upon the act of books. Okay, if you close the library, books are unavailable. If you open the library, books are available. Strong relationship. This strong relationship is called as what? As a relationship, and it is a degree of association which is also called as composition in Java. We are going to discuss this topic today. Composition. At the same time, the relationship between students and the library, they are weak. If you close the library, students are very happy nowadays. Okay, weak relationship. Why weak relationship? If the library is shut down, students, it will not affect students. Students, they are completely independent. Okay, their existence is completely independent. Their existence is not proportional to the library. They can visit some other places. They can their existence is completely independent upon the existence of the library. So weak relationship. The weak relationship we have already discussed, which was the topic of discussion in the previous session. It was aggregation. So we have taken the car and the engine example. So this is aggregation, right? So this is the degree of association. So degree of association is categorized into two types: composition and the aggregation. So this is a clear picture about the degree of association. Okay. Same thing I have represented in the theoretical part. Composition, it is a strong association between two entities. If you close a container object, the contained object will also be closed along with the container. Lifetime of the contained object is totally depending upon the lifetime of the container object. Okay, this is making more sense now after looking at the diagram. Okay, so we have discussed about the aggregation in the previous section. I don't think we need much explanation on this. So today we will complete this composition. Okay. To understand more about the composition, we will take the same example. Okay, the example is like, I'm going to take two packages. Okay, so let us take two classes. One is class library. Okay, and second one is let us also take a class books. Okay, so inside the class books we will have some properties. Okay, we are going to have some properties inside the class books. Let us keep the property simple. We will take the name property, name of the book. We will take the author property, author of the respective book. So I have taken two properties inside the book. Okay, so these books, it is not a one book, it is a collection of books. So I need to store this book in the library in the form of collection. Means not single book, I need to store the collection of books. Why collection of books? Library is going to accommodate the stack of books, collection of books. Not one book, I require to store a lot of books. So that I am taking a book array here. Array. See, these two classes, library class is there and books class is also there. Okay, by looking at this, can I say that this library class is the container class? Container class, and this class that is by the name of books is the contained class. Contained class. Why contained class, guys? Very simple. I think the contained class. Okay, so if you look at this reference, if you look at this instance variable reference, this reference is part of another class, which is the book class, right? So when you place a reference of another class inside another class, this class becomes the contained class. Please remember, this class becomes what? The contained class. And the class which is giving the accommodation for the contained class is called as the container class. Making sense? Very simple. Okay. Firstly, always remember we need to build the class for what? Contained class. Then we should build the class for container class. Then you can call the respective, create the respective objects in the driver class. Hope the sequence is clear. I hope the procedure is clear. Right? Are we good so far? Type S in the chat box. We are good. Shall we continue? Are we connected? Good. Actually, I am trying to ensure that you people are getting acquainted with this verse. Very important. Okay. You should not forget this verse. It may look like a fancy verse, but they are very, very important words to define something in the assay relationship. Okay, very important words. Contained, container with respect to assay relationship. Okay, so let me open my Eclipse editor. Okay, so I am going to take the project. Okay, let me keep it visible for you guys. I think it is visible now. File, new, always create a Java project. Right, it is asking for the project name. So for the better, let us keep the name as a meaningful name. Okay, composition. So we are discussing about composition. So the name of the project is also composition. Right, and let us be, don't change anything, just click on next, right, and click on finished. Okay, and you see a project folder here, composition project. Okay, let us expand this. Okay, you will find a folder called src. Right click here, click on new. You need to create two packages here. So the high level design should be like this. Okay, so we are going to place the library class and the book class under one package, and we will accommodate another package for the main class. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. So there is one package here. Okay, there is also another package. Okay, this package is meant for name of the package is com.test.classes. Okay, the name of this package is com.test.driver. Okay, so this package is going to accommodate the two classes, contained class as well as the container class. So class library as well as class books. Okay, and this class is specifically, this package is specifically designed to accommodate the main class, which is called the driver class. Inside this we will place the main method, public static void. Very simple, isn't it? So two classes are here and one class is here. Let us do the same thing. Right, I hope you are able to see this now. Let us do the same thing. Go back to the Eclipse editor. Okay, right click on src, click on new, click on package. The name of the package is com.test.classes, one package. So one package is created. Do the same thing, right click on the src, click on new and click on package com.test.driver. Right, two packages are created successfully. So under classes package, let us create two classes. Same thing, right click here, click on new, click on class. The class name is library. Library is one of the classes, and we need to create another class under the same package. The name of the other class is what? Books. Click on finish. So we have created two classes successfully, and we have another package called driver package. Right click here, click on new, click on class. The name of the class is driver. This time you please ensure that you are checking this checkbox, public static void main. Right, if you are not clicking this, you need to type the main method manually. So this is going to make our life easy. So main method. So you get these things, don't worry, just remove this. Okay, so we have main method. Okay, go back to our code. Okay, firstly we need to create object for, we need to prepare the program for content class. What is the content class here? Books class. Okay, go back to the Eclipse, click on books class. Let us build the program, let us develop the program. Okay, so we are going to take two variables inside the book class. One is name, second one is author, right? So private string name, private string, what is the second one? Author. Okay, so this time we will develop the program, like we will follow the different approach. Let me just keep the variables here. Okay, next go back to the, so I'm not using any constructors here. We will design the constructors later. Let us go to the library class. In this library class, I am going to have a variable name of as a relationship. Okay, so here I want to use this class name as the variable name as a relationship. Okay, private books. Okay, so I have one variable under the library class. I have two variables under the books class. Okay, let us go to the driver class and let us create the object for the content class. So books class is the content class. Okay, so I want to create an object for this. For that, what I'm doing, books b1 equal to new books. Right, so it is throwing some error. Why? Because we need to use the import statement. So imported successfully. Import com.test.classes.books. Okay, books obj equal to new. Okay, so because of this import statement, so I have just added this import statement to ensure that there is a connection between these two classes. Okay, so that a connection will be created so that the main thread can recognize main thread. We are increasing the visibility. Okay, main thread will able to fetch the respective details of this books class from the driver class. Books class is a part of this package. That's why it is called as com.test.classes.books. Okay, so now main thread will get the complete visibility. It will recognize this class. Okay, that's the importance of the import statement. Okay, now see guys, see. So I have just created an object. So what is happening behind this is we will understand that. Then we will discuss about the constructors and the other things. Okay, the moment you create the object, because of this object creation, behind the scenes, what is happening really? Okay, so this is the object creation statement. So this is what? This is object creation statement. Okay, just try to see. Okay, there is a new keyword. Because of this new keyword, a memory gets allocated inside the RAM. Okay, what is the reference variable for this particular memory? Okay, obj. That is a name that we have preferred to give, obj. Okay, obj is the reference variable name. Right, now whenever you are doing this, whenever you are creating an object, inside this object it is ready to allocate memory for the instance variables. For which class we are allocating we have created the object for the books class. Okay, go back to the books class and try to recognize how many instance variables are there. There are two instance variables, don't you think so? Name and the author, right? So it is ready to allocate, it is ready to accommodate memory for the name variable as well as for the author variable. Initially, always it is going to be what? The default value null. Always it is going to be what? The default value. Okay. So because of this line, because of this line, first line, because of this first line, These are the changes behind the scenes. These are the things that has happened in the memory of RAM. Right? So I have instance variables, but I need to assign values to these instance variables. How can I assign that? That's the question. How can I assign values to these instance variables? We don't, for that we require what? We require constructors. So we have only instance variables. I need to find a way to assign some values to these instance variables. You to assign values to these instance variables, what do we need? We can use constructors or setters. That's why we are using constructors. So let us generate the constructors. Right click here, okay, go to the source, and here there you will see option like generate constructors using fields. Okay, select all, click on generate. Okay, constructor will be created. Okay, a constructor has been created successfully. And always remember, whenever you are creating a constructor with this which is accepting some parameters, okay, please ensure that you are also placing a non-parameterized constructor, that is public books, an empty constructor, non-parameterized constructor. Okay, this is mandatory, compulsion. To avoid conflict, this is compulsion. Okay. Now you have a constructor. Now see, you have a constructor. Go back to this diagram. Okay. By using this constructor, we are going to set values to the instance variables. So we have the complete full-fledged constructor now. Okay. So now look at this part, books constructor. Okay. Focus on this part, guys. What is it? Books constructor. So what I'm going to do, this time I'm going to create an object from the main method by using books obj equal to new. Along with the new keyword, I am going to use this constructor. Very simple thing. Go back to the our job is to do what? We need to assign values to this instance variable. It is null. I need to give some meaningful names, right? For that, I'm using the Eclipse editor. I'm going to the driver class. Okay. Instead of books, this time I'm passing some values. How many values I'm going to pass here? I'm going to pass 2 values. What is the first value? Go back to the pane. First value is the some name. Second value is the some author. Okay, same thing because this books constructor is accepting 2 arguments. Okay, so this is accepting, how many arguments is accepting? 2 arguments. One is name, second one is author. Let us pass some meaningful information here. The name of the book is Java. The author of the book is what? Let us keep the author as A. The moment I do this, okay, now I am trying to do what? The moment I do this, okay, so remove this. So we are following a different approach. So we are doing what? The moment I do this, okay, now Java, first value is what? The first value is Java, right? This Java will be consumed by this constructor parameters. First parameter Java, comma, second parameter is what? A. Okay, so we are assigning these parameters, we are passing these values so that these values will be passed to the instance variables. The moment you do this, these values will be passed as the instance variables, passed to the instance variables. Okay, this dot name, and we have this dot author, this dot name and this dot author. Okay, the name, the value null will be replaced by Java, okay, the value author will be replaced by, here the value is null already, it would be replaced by AAA. Okay, now obj1 is storing the real-time values, which is Java, name equal to Java, author equal to AAA. We achieved this by using this constructor. Okay, by using this constructor. So that's why we use constructors to initialize values to the instance variables. Right? So like this, I can use another constructor. This is obj. Okay, I can use another constructor, obj1 equal to new books, this time Python. Okay, and the value is going to be BBB. Okay, what happens the second time? Okay, it has recognized the new keyword. Again, what happens in the memory? A new object will be created. New object will be created, and the address of this object is identified as obj1. Yes or no? obj1. Why obj1? Because that is the reference variable. Okay, so the object will always accommodate the memory for the instance variables. Initially, it is going to be null. Default values will be assigned. Okay. At the time of initialization, default values will be assigned initially. Then you are doing what? You are assigning the meaningful values. What are the meaningful values? You are doing what? obj1 equal to new. Okay, we are passing Python and the BBB for second time. Python and BBB, right? By using this constructor. By using this constructor. Okay, it will go back to this constructor. It will invoke this constructor. Python will be stored here. BBB will be stored here. This will be assigned to the instance variables. A constructor is acting as a mediator to transfer the values to the instance variables, so that inside the object, the meaningful values are getting stored like this. Second time, what? Python. What is the author? BBB. Okay. We are able to store two different set of data just by using one constructor. So now I think you are able to get it. What is the purpose of using the constructor? It is always used to assign the values to the instance variables. This is how we have achieved. We have created two objects. Okay, now let me create the third object. Okay, if I create the third object, books obj2 equal to new books. Okay, so instead of doing this, now you see, I can also follow another approach. I can also follow what? Another approach. What approach this time I am following? So we have created such constructors. Let me generate getters and setters. File, source, generate getters and setters. Now you will understand what is the purpose of generating getters and setters. Getters and setters are generated successfully from here. Getters and setters. Getters are used to get the values that is stored in the object. Setters are used to set the values to the object. Okay. Now we have two setters. This is setter 1, set name, set author. Okay. I can also use the setters. For example, I am creating an object, books obj2 equal to new books. Simply this line is going to create object. Okay. This line is going to create one object behind the scenes. 1 minute less, let me plug in the charger. This one line is also creating an object. What is happening behind the scenes, especially on top of this line? Okay. Another object is getting created because we are using new keyword. No, what is the reference variable name here? obj2. Let me copy this. This object will be referred as what? The obj2. Yes or no? obj2. Okay. And every time, please always keep in mind, whenever you are creating an object, blindly it will allocate memory for the instance variables. What are the instance variables in the books class? We have two instance variables. One is name and the author. Okay, keep this in mind always. We always allocate blindly memory for the instance variable. Initially, default values will be stored. Later, the values that we wanted to store by using constructors or the setters, that values will get accommodated here. Okay. Because of this line, Okay, because of this line, this has happened behind the scenes, just because of this line, right? obj1, because of this line, this has happened behind the scenes. Okay, so do you think that the values are assigned yet? No, values are not assigned yet. Now we are going to use setters to assign the values. What I'm trying to do here, okay, what are the setters we have? Go back to the books. Let me copy this setter. So this is set name method is there. Paste it here. Focus here, guys. Very, very, very important. The doubts will be clear. Okay. So this is a set name method. And another method, what is it? Set author. Okay. Set author. Two methods are there. Okay. Set name, set author. Okay. From the main menu, from the main method, from the driver class, by using this object reference obj2, I am calling set name. I am passing the value C. See what happens, what is happening behind the scenes. Okay, so this is the information that I get. Set name C++. Okay, set name is going to call the set method, set name method, and we are passing what? C++, right? This C++ will be transferred to this variable, this dot name. Okay, so this dot name is this C++ will be assigned to the name variable that is stored inside the object. So this name will be replaced by C++. So by using setters also you can initialize the instance variables. That is what I wanted to say. Okay. And one more is author is pending. For that, what I am doing it here, let us see. Okay, obj2 dot set author. Okay, author is going to be CCC. Okay, so because of this method invocation, see what is happening behind the scenes, guys. Because of this method invocation, I am calling calling set author on top of obj2. Okay, set author will be called, and we are passing what? We are passing something as a parameter. What is it? Something, some information, CCC. Okay, this CCC will be transferred to the instance variable, will be consumed and will be transferred to the instance variable. So this is instance variable. Okay, and here the value is going to be CCC. Now can I conclude that by using constructors and by using setters, what did I just say? Setters, they are used to transfer the data to the instance variables. Are you getting this so far? Everyone? Yes, no? Purpose of constructors and purpose of setters. Are we getting this, Darshini? Good. Now you see, guys, don't you think that, see, by using setters, I am able to do this by, it is taking 3 lines for me by using setters. By using setters, it is taking 3 lines to set data. But by using constructor, it is taking me only 1 line. So which one is easy, constructors or setters? What are your thoughts? Which one is easy for us? Is it always recommended to use constructors to set data or setters? Because when you look at this, don't you think that there is some inconvenient here, because we need to call 2 methods to set data by using setters, but for constructors, by using the constructor, we are able to transfer data. Which one is better? What do you think, guys? Constructors or setters? You're getting my question. Which one do you think is a better way of setting the data? Constructors or setters? Okay, Ratnakumar, good. Constructors. But let me tell you one thing. Both has its own advantages. Okay, you people are right. Completely right. I agree with that. Constructors are always better because with 1 line we are able to set data. Again, think in that another way. You cannot mess up with the order with the constructor. For example, You cannot do this with a constructor. If you are messing up with the order, for example, instead of Java, if I am storing CCC and if I am messing up with the order of information, okay, you will get what? The incorrect information. You should not forget the order by using the constructors. You should follow the order. Always remember. Okay, it's your duty to follow the order. Okay, Java, because first property is Java, so it is mandatory for you to do what? You need to ensure that you are passing the right property information. Okay, but when you are using setters, even if you pass in the different order, no matter, the data will be stored to the respective variables. This is an advantage with the setters. Are you getting this? Here the order is mandatory. For 2 properties, no issue. Sometimes if you have 10 properties, okay, you should remember one thing. You should not forget, you should not mess with the order. If you have 10 properties, you should ensure that you are focusing the order. Order should be from top to bottom. First it should be name, second it should be author, third it should be any other thing like that. You should ensure that you are maintaining up the order. But when you use setters, order maintenance is not necessary. Firstly you can set author, secondly you can set name, no issues. It will store to the exact way. Are you getting this? The advantages of setters. Only the disadvantages, it is going to what? And again, it is optional for you. If you leave this field empty, no issues. The value is going to be null. But you cannot leave anything empty here. It will give you an error. You cannot do this. See, it is giving you an error. You should ensure that you are placing some data. But here, by using setters, it is okay. If you are not storing any data, by default, the null value will be stored. Okay, so keep these things in mind. Set name, what is it? C++. Let me repeat this. By using constructors, you should ensure that you should maintain the order, but by using setters, order maintenance is not mandatory. You can set values according to your own way. Firstly, you can use the second property name or third property name. The right values will be set to the the construct, what we call it as the object. Right? So 3 objects are created. These are the contained objects. Okay? I need to store these objects in the form of array. So books equal to, okay, all these objects are getting stored. obj1, obj2 in the form of array. Okay. Because of this line, what is happening behind the scenes, you will understand. Okay. Let me reshuffle this paint. Okay. What I am trying to do here is, okay, let's do this for the better visibility. Let me separate this. Let me also separate. Okay. So this is obj and this is obj2 and this is obj1 and this is obj2. Now we focus, guys. So we have 3 objects in the memory. Now what I am doing is I am taking a new variable here. So so we are discussing about this instruction. Which you want? Books. Okay. So all these objects are getting stored once again in the form of array. Okay. Because of this, internally what is happening, an array will be created. Okay. This array is going to store 3 objects of what? 1, 2, 3. Okay. This array is going to store obj1, right, and obj and obj1, right, and obj2. Okay. It is accommodating the storage for all the objects which we have just created, and this address reference is what? Collection of books. I can say this as this collection of objects is represented in the form of array, which is internally representing what? The collection of books. Okay, this books is same as this one. Is pointing to, I'm sorry, this one. Okay, this line is making this. Okay, now let us go back to the code. Okay, we have understood all these lines and object has been created because of these manipulations behind the scenes. These are the things that has just happened. Okay, so this is not visible to us. These are the things that has happened behind the scenes. I want to display all these things in the console. Okay, go back here. I have just created object for the books, and I need to create object for the library. Library, because we have library class, isn't it? Only one variable is there, that is also the books variable. Okay, what I am doing it here. Okay, library obj equal to new library. Okay, it is breaking because we need to import what? We need to import the library class. Okay, go back to the paint screen. Okay, so we are adding the second import statement to make this class visible. I'm sorry. Okay. You're not adding this. This library class will become invisible to the main thread. This is not visible to the main thread. The moment you add import statement, this becomes visible. It becomes what? Visible. So that this main thread can play around with the library class as well as books class. So import statements are mandatory because this main thread needs to cross the current package. It needs to jump from the current package to the new package, or to the package where this library class and books are available. Okay, they are available in this package. So import statements are mandatory, guys. Okay, now go back to the code once again. Okay, so we have created an object, an object. Okay, library lib I am taking. Okay, because of this, what is happening behind the scenes? Again, same thing. But what is just happening behind the scenes because of this thing? Okay, an object is created. An object is created, and name of the object is what? Lib. Right? This will be named as Lib. Okay. Every time, again I am saying, whenever you are creating an object with a new keyword, okay, it is going to get an address that is completely understood. At the same time, this object needs to allocate memory for the instance variables of this particular class. Okay, we are dealing with which class, guys? We are dealing with library class, yes or no? Okay, go to the library class. How many instance variables are there? Only one instance variable, and this variable is in the form of book array, yes or no? Book array. So a memory will be allocated for this books variable. Okay, inside this a memory allocation will be happening for the books variable. In the beginning, the value is going to be null always. Please remember. Okay. Now it's our duty to assign value for this instance variable. Yes or no? For that we need what? We need either constructor or setters. Yes or no? Let us generate constructors and setters. Let us generate both. Source, generate. Why I am generating setters and constructors? Because to set data to this variable. Right? So constructor is generated, and again source, generate getters and setters. Select all constructors, and the getters and setters are generated successfully. Right? Now go back to the code. Okay, and again I am saying, whenever you find a constructor, parameterized constructor, it is always mandatory for you to place a constructor. Copy and place the constructor and remove these parameters and remove everything inside. One non-parameters constructor, placing one non-parameters constructor is mandatory to avoid object creation conflicts. If you practice this, you will understand why it is mandatory. The more you practice, you will get the more knowledge about why this is mandatory. For now, just assume that this is mandatory. Now go back to the code. So library class is created. Okay, we need to do what? We need to pass, we need to set data. lib.setBooks. Okay, it is except we need to pass the books object. So this array object, passing this array object set. Okay, because of this, what is happening behind the scenes? Go to the code. Okay, I am passing a value of books. Again, internally books is of books are again, there are three set of books: obj, obj1, obj2. Right? So this null will be replaced with books variable. I'm sorry. Okay, and this books variable that I am specifying here, okay, is pointing to three set of books. One is obj, second one is obj1, third one is obj2. Right? Internally, this books variable has stored this one obj object, obj1 object, obj2 object. To understand this, so the object is being stored in the form of, all these objects has been stored in the form of array. Okay, so behind the scenes we got to know what is happening behind the scenes. We want to see these things in actions. We want to see this information in the console. Okay, how we are going to achieve that? Okay, let me do one thing here. Okay, I want to print something in the organized fashion. I'm taking system.out.println. Right? So I want to print information like book name and book author. So b name plus b author. Okay. After this, what I'm trying to do it here. Okay, I'm using this lib dot, I'm calling the getBooks method. I'll tell you what is this. Okay, I'm storing this again in books from, I will tell you what is this, books from library. Okay, I'm using enhanced for loop here. Okay, I'm taking this as the reference, books x from library, system.out.println, s dot get name of the book plus \t plus x dot get author of the book plus \n. I will run this code and we will, after seeing the output, I will give you the explanation. Okay? Keep it in mind. I will be explaining you this. Okay, let me run this code. Let us run this code. Run. Okay, see, I am getting book name, book author, Java. What is it? Author is CCC, Python, BBB, C++, AAA. Okay, let us keep it as AAA. Let me run this once again. Java, AAA, Python, BBB, C++, CCC. Okay, so let us add one more line behind under this, so that the output will be much organized. Okay, let me run this. Okay. Book name, author, Java, AAA, Python, BBB, C++, CCC. You can also do the more modifications here. You can also give numbers. Okay. So now what is happening behind the scenes, we will understand. So here I have created an object. So till here, these are the changes that has happened behind the scenes. Or no, do you agree with me? Till here we are able to create an object for the library and the instance variable is assigned, and this books is going to store internally three other object references. One is obj1, obj2 and obj3. Okay. Now focus here. Okay. From this line, I will explain you exactly from this line. Okay. Let me copy this in the plain screen. Let us take this screen. Take this space. Okay, so focus this first line. System dot out dot println b name. I'm giving a tab here. Okay, just assume that this is the console. Assume that this is the console. Okay, so this b name will be printed in the console. Okay, backward slash t. The moment it recognizes backward slash t, a big space will be given. It's just like pressing the tab button. When you press the tab button in the word, the word art, okay, a big amount of space will be created. Okay. And again, the next information is b author. B author will be displayed. Okay. And this time I am giving something like backslash n here. Backslash n means a new line. Okay, the cursor will be moved to the new line. Right. After this line is going to give this exactly, right? Okay. So this is a print new line. Okay, after printing this, it will go to the new line. Okay. Here what I am doing, okay, I have created, so I have just called, focus here, I have just called lib.getBooks. Lib.getBooks. Okay. This lib is this reference variable. By using this reference variable, I am calling the getBooks method. Okay. This getBooks method is inside this library class. This is a library class. Here you have the getBook method. If you are calling this method, it is going to return books. It is going to return books that is stored in the object. It is going to return what? It is going to return books that is stored in the object. Go to the object and see. Go to our object and see how many books are stored in the object, guys. Don't you think that there are three set of books that is stored in the object in the form of array? Okay, this is one set of books, this is another set of books, this is another set of books. Three set of books. This three set of books has been stored in the form of what? Array. Right? So this has to be stored in the form of array. So you need to do what? You need to catch hold of this array. For that, what I am doing it here, I am using an array variable, books array variable, books from library. I am catching hold of this array. This method is returning books. How many books it is returning? Three sets of books. Obj book, obj1 book, obj2 book. These three set of books are in the form of array. This needs to be captured. This needs to be stored somewhere. I'm using a variable name books from library. It can be any name. You can also use X also, no issues. A meaningful name. Books from library of what type? Array of books type. There is not single object, array of objects. Many values, many objects. That's why I've used the square brackets. Okay. So this information has been stored again in the books from library variable. Books from library is a variable that is storing this information. Okay, I'm using enhanced for loop. I'm using what? I'm using enhanced for loop for the iteration. Okay, this enhanced for loop will run for how many times? Will run for length of the array times. How many objects are there in the array? This is one object, this is second object, this is third object. Okay, this enhanced for loop will run for three times. First time when it is running for the first time, it will retrieve value from obj. It will retrieve value from obj. Okay, what values it is going to retrieve? We are retrieving x dot get name, x dot get author. Okay, what are the values inside the obj? Go and see. Okay, obj, it is holding what? Java and AAA. Okay, for the first iteration, the output is going to be Java. Yeah. First iteration, second iteration, the output is going to be what? obj1. What are the values inside Python? BBB. Python. Okay, BBB. Third time C++, CCC. Okay. There is no fourth time. It will enhanced for loop will run as long as it is meeting the what size of the array. Okay, the size of the array is 3, it will run just for 3 times. The size of the array is 4, it will run just for 4 times. The length is already defined. Fourth time it will not run, it will come out of this for loop. Okay, the output is going to be what? This is the output which we have just seen in the console. The output which we have just seen in the console. Making sense? Yes, no. This is all about. So can we replace Python in Java? You can replace it. The data is up to you. You can give any data. This is the job of our, if you want to store some data relevant to your workshop, relevant to your work location. Okay, if you are working as an admin, okay, if you want to store some data, let's store any data. Not like Java. This can also be Python. Python of author A, different author. Python of different author. All these 3 books can be Python itself, but of different authors. To run this code, Python of author A, Python BB, Python CC. Any data you can give, meaningful data you can give. Right? Making sense, everyone? Here we are talking about the Java composition here, guys. Talking about what? We are talking about the Java composition. So I don't think much explanation is required for this. Okay, when you are getting this question in the interview, just try to answer these 3 lines. It is more than enough. Okay, it is a strong association between 2 entities. If you close the container class, okay, and the lifetime of the container class is totally different. More than enough. Nothing is required apart from this. And if you want to understand this in the deeper way, just try to replicate this program from your side. It will help you a lot. The moment you start building this code from your side, you will become expert in this concept, especially associations, aggregation, and what? Composition. Everyone, are you getting this, guys? One of you got why we require constructors, why we require setters, why we require getters. I hope these things are very clear now. Any questions for me? Right. Tomorrow we will try to discuss about the